Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So, working on tail feathers still. Yeah, not gonna get through those before the end of this month. I have one more session after this one, but my new goal is to reach 2/3 done, because I'm pretty close to that. Yeah, or estimate, I shall say. I don't really make goals because I found them stressful, so but yeah, there's kind of there's another eye motif here, and so that is what I'm going to be working on today. Yeah, it kind of makes a circular shape right about here, so I'm going to cut it off there and fill that in. That is the plan for today. Alrighty. Oh my, it's not long enough. So yeah, we still have snow on the ground, but no more has fallen. It's been quite nice. That was good because I woke up very groggy and needed to go for a walk to wake myself up. So yeah, still a bit of a chill in the air. So actually the exercise and that kind of helped, yeah, get me awake for the rest of the day, hopefully. Yeah, so I saw in the news that the Bay is liquidating. So that was sort of the last of the big traditional department stores in Canada. And yeah, I kind of figured that their day was coming soon. Yeah, because Eaton's went under in, I believe it was the 90s. And then Zellers did as well. And then Sears. I read that there are still locations, a few, not very many, but a few locations in the US, but in Canada they're all gone. And yeah, so the Bay was sort of the last of those traditional department stores. And I kind of figured they weren't going to last much longer. And yeah, so yeah, unfortunately that's like 9,000 people, over 9,000 people are going to be out of work, which really sucks for them. Yeah, well, they said like places that are a bit cheaper have kind of put them out of business, and online shopping as well, because yeah, like I grew up 80s, 90s. Going to the department store was kind of a thing when I was a kid, right? Yeah, going and browsing all the displays and stuff like that. But, you know, now you can window shop from your couch, right? With your smartphone. So, yeah, you no longer really need that experience. But yeah, it's like the end of an era, because they said like a lot of those department stores sort of started in like the 1800s. Yeah. In fact, there was a BBC program called The Paradise, which was about like sort of one of the first big department stores. I believe it was fictional, but, you know, based on sort of how they started. And yeah, it was kind of interesting. Like the guy who was running the thing would have, oh, we're going to have a store-wide sale, you know, of everything is, you know, 10% off or something. And, you know, people are saying, oh, that's a, you know, wild idea. You can't do that. Nobody's ever done it. He's like, well, yeah, that's why I'm doing it, you know. And yeah. So sort of about like the birth of a, yeah, traditional department store. Unfortunately, they canceled it after 2 seasons because I was quite enjoying it. And you could tell that they were hoping to get at least one more season because they introduced all of these conflicts and plots, and then sort of it was like in the last 10 minutes, oh, okay, I guess this isn't a problem. The end, you know? Yeah, they just kind of wrapped things up really quickly. And, yeah, so the pacing was kind of all off. Yeah, they've been sort of dragging some of these out over, 5 or 6 episodes, and then, oh, you know what? Actually, this isn't a problem anymore. The end. I hate when that happens, yeah. There was a podcaster that I listened to who said she actually is reluctant to watch TV because of that very reason. She said she'll watch miniseries, but she says, I don't like otherwise, especially drama series, because she says, like, they often don't know where they're going past a certain point. They'll have the first 1 or 2 seasons mapped out, and then after that, they've got the characters established but don't know what to do with them. And, yeah, so I can see her point. Yeah. I still do, but yes, that does mean sometimes you're left with a build-up and no payoff. It's kind of frustrating, too, because I read that they discovered that leaving things on a cliffhanger doesn't actually make much of a difference in ratings. They'll say that, yeah, sometimes people will show up for the season premiere the next season, sort of to see how the cliffhanger ended, but then that doesn't mean they're going to watch any more of it. So, yeah, you might get a little bump in ratings for your season premiere, but if it wasn't enough to sustain it, yeah, once that's solved, then people are just going to kind of drop off of viewership, and so you're just delaying the inevitable kind of thing, yeah. So, but yeah, I was saying about the Bay closing. They've been in Canada since the 1600s because they were the Hudson's Bay Company when they were a fur trading company, yeah. And I didn't know till I was like 15 that the Hudson's Bay Company that we studied in social studies and the Bay department store were the same thing, It wasn't until we went on a shopping trip to Vancouver and we went by one of their really big stores and it had, the colored stripes of their logo and then it said the Hudson's Bay Company. I'm like, wait, they're the same thing? Oh, I had no idea. Yeah. I feel kind of silly after that, right? Like, I guess it's kind of obvious. Why else would they call it the Bay? But yeah, I totally did not know it was the same thing. Ugh. Yeah, there's been, and not just of department stores, there's been a lot of Canadian chains have closed over the last few years. Some of them, I believe, were accelerated because of the pandemic, but yeah. There's a lot of stuff that I grew up with that is no longer around. Quite a few clothing companies were gone. Mariposa was one we liked, and Le Chateau was another. Those are gone now. Yeah, I liked to window shop at their pretty dresses. I usually didn't buy any because I didn't have a place to wear them, but yeah. Yeah, like they said, like technically you could call places like Walmart a department store, but they're not like the traditional department stores were, right? And yeah, kind of the end of an era. Well, they said it was one of those things they didn't change enough with the times. And the times, they are always changing, right? Yeah. Yeah, you can see some big blunders sometimes. Like they said, Blockbuster had the option to buy Netflix when it was still a very new fledgling business and they turned it down. Well, I think we all know how that turned out. Yeah. Yeah. Blockbusters were still around when my son was really little, but he wasn't old enough to actually remember the experience of going to one. Yeah. Browsing there on Friday night to grab some movies to watch over the weekend. Yeah, so that is one thing I kind of miss, because you can still rent movies with streaming, but they're much more limited with them now. You have to watch them, I think it's like within 48 hours. And once you start it, you can only pause it for a certain amount of time. You don't get to watch it more than the one time. And like in the old days, if it wasn't a new release, you sometimes got to keep the movie for a week and you could watch it as many times as you wanted in that week. So we did that sometimes, right? Yeah, because it was actual, physical piece of media that you had rented. Yeah. Yeah, the 5 movies, 5 days, $5. Now it's $5 just to rent one movie. I mean, it is kind of nice that you don't have to leave your home to get the movie, but yeah, there's the trade-off that you only get to watch it the one time. Yeah, talking earlier about the chains closing. Yeah, Zellers, that was where I had my first job where I actually got like a T4 for it, Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if I still even have it. It's a long time ago. I got to be a seasonal worker at Christmas in like 1998, I believe it was. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because somebody said, well, the chain is closed now. You could just claim you were like a general manager or something. How are they going to check it? Yeah, so Christmas time always makes me kind of nostalgic for Zellers, because that was where I had my first job, was during Christmas time, and most of my Christmas stuff is from there, or fake Christmas trees from there. Yeah. A lot of the decorations, my cookie platter. Yeah. But yeah, they went under mid-2000s. So, because I'm trying to think how old my son was, but yeah. And then Target took over a lot of the places, but they did not last in Canada very long. Yeah. They said one of their big mistakes was that they bought all those locations and they shut them down to do all the renovations. And yeah, there's been a lot of market studies saying that if people have changed their habits for 3 months, they're probably not going to come back. Yeah. So they said, like, some stores, what they're smart, like when Walmart took over a lot of places, they did renos and stuff, but they still stayed open. And so people who had gone to, say, Woolworths or whatever the chain, or Kmart, whatever the chain was that they took over, they continued to shop there. Yeah. So you kept the existing customers, which is pretty important, right? I mean, if you buy a location, that's kind of one of the purposes, is that it has this much built-in customer traffic, right? Yeah. They say once people have found a new place to shop, they get into their routine, they're like unlikely to change back unless you give a good enough incentive. So yeah, Target was only around in Canada for I think a year or two. And then they pulled out, yeah. Now, I'd be really sad if Canadian Tire disappeared. That's a Canadian institution. Yeah. Yeah, they give you points now, but they used to give Canadian Tire money, which was actual printed, like, paper money. And, yeah. I can't remember what it was. It was like maybe 1% you got back in Canadian Tire money that, of course, you could only spend there to try to encourage you to come back. Yeah, and then they changed to an actual, like, points card like everyone else, but yeah. Well, I think people were counterfeiting it, for one thing. It's not that hard, right? Because it doesn't have the same built-in, anti-counterfeit features like real money would have. But yeah, so you'd have a bill that could be literally like for 5 cents worth. Actually, it was funny. I remember there was a news story where a guy bought something with just his Canadian Tire money. He saved it for over years, and he bought a canoe. And somebody's like, that's the most Canadian thing ever, buying a canoe with Canadian Tire money. Yeah. Yeah, apparently they tried to expand into the US way back when, but yeah, oops, it was not a success. But yeah, in Canada, they're still pretty strong. Oh yeah, that's another Canadian chain that's going. PV Mart. Yeah, it's not a nationwide chain. It was through like the prairies. I think it was like Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba kind of thing. And yeah, they shut down as well, or are shutting down. I'm not sure if they've completed the liquidation yet or not, but yeah. But yeah, my husband went in there to see, and he said their stuff that's on clearance was all the same price it was before. So yeah, he didn't buy anything. They had a pretty good toy section, and I would go there to buy my beef jerky supply stuff. But I believe I can get that still at Princess Auto, which is another Canadian chain. Yeah. Princess Auto is more like an outlet kind of store. Yeah. It's another one where people always assume I work there when I wear my old work jacket, even though their colors are blue and my work jacket is red. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a bad jacket, but it is kind of annoying when I want to go shopping because everybody assumes I work there. My husband gets it too. Some guy, what's with the service around here? My husband's like, I wouldn't know, I don't work here. And again, his work coat is black and green, not blue, but people still assume he works there. Yeah, sometimes he'll even say, like, he's been working in the garage, and he's, of course, wearing his old, like, paint-stained clothes and stuff. And he's like, well, I'm just wearing these to the store because hopefully then people won't think that I work there. Yeah, one of my friends said, I give off major I work here vibes. Said, you know, I could be wearing clown shoes and, you know, a rainbow wig, and people would still think I work there. Pardon me, yeah, still adjusting to the ruddy time change. This one especially takes me weeks. Yeah, I find it's not just the getting up earlier in the morning, it's I can't fall asleep earlier at night. So, you had someone say, well, just go to bed earlier. It's like, dude, you have no idea what insomnia is, do you? It's not, I don't have enough time to sleep. It's that I cannot fall asleep that early. Like, yeah, you must be one of those people who can just lie down in your sleep when your head hits the pillow. Like, yeah. I am not like that. Never have been. Okay, so I think I will probably hit 204,000. I would say. We'll see if we can hit it this session, but if not, that's okay. But yeah, another 600 stitches after that will be exactly 2/3. And I think that is doable. So that means, yeah, I would think then that would mean that I will be down to 100,000 stitches to go sometime in April. So that would be exciting. Oh dear. So I don't think I would, like I said, reach it completed by the end of the year, because I would have to do about 11,000 or more for the rest of the year, and I don't think that's going to happen. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I had another color that I did recently that I have like one stitch left of, and it's in the next pass. And there's another one that has 4 stitches left, 3 of them in the next pass, but then the very last one is like in the last pass. It's like, darn it. Yeah. I like hitting those zeros, but they can take a while. Yeah, it makes that last 10% really exciting when you keep getting zeros. Yes, it's someone asking, am I going to do a new focus piece when this one is done? Yes, don't you worry. I have lots of them lined up. I've got about 6 that I already have all the supplies for, and I've got like 3 other patterns that I've bought since, or actually 4, I think. Yeah, I don't have supplies for them yet, but I would love to stitch them. So like I said, I only need another couple of lifetimes, right? Yeah, I will not be running out of projects to do anytime soon. I'm in this for the long haul. You're all stuck with me for a while. Oh yeah, speaking of buying patterns, Artisy is having a 20% off sale, I believe, until the end of March. So there's still a few more days if you want to hop on that. Yeah, they have some beautiful patterns. I've done 3 of theirs. 2 were regular size, and then 1 was the large size. And yeah, I was very happy with all of them. Oh, I didn't mark that. Yeah, it's there, but I didn't mark it. Okay. Oh, no, I have done something wrong here, I think. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, I have. What have I done? Oh, I see what I did. Yeah, silly me. I was not paying attention here. Yeah. Okay. Oh, what have I done here? Okay, that's what I did. Yes, I have been mixed up. Make sure I grab both strands. Yeah, okay, that's what I did. I grabbed the wrong strand. Okay. Yeah, silly me. Yeah, this one is not done. What I meant to do is pick up this strand, and I picked up the wrong one. I tell you, and I started stitching different color with that strand. Yeah, I can tell by looking at it too which is which. This one is more blue. Okay. I bet a lot of you noticed that. Yeah. Told you I was tired. Yeah, and then I suddenly went, wait a minute. What is on my pattern and what is on my fabric is not matching. So I blew it. Sometimes the eye of the needle kind of pierces the fibers there and that. Can mess things up. Okay, so now I'm going to do this correctly. Oh my gosh. So yeah, people ask, how do you not mix them up? Well, very occasionally I do, but usually pretty good. Yeah, there we go. That is correct now. Yeah, so I'm going to work this blue area. Then I will probably work some of it above it, and then there's another feather down here that I can work. But so I may work that, I may work this and continue working down and then come to the top. I have not decided yet, but yeah, sort of one section of color at a time. One of these little feathers at a time, rather than across a whole diagonal strip. That's just, yeah, how I've chosen to do it. Yeah, I find when things are really confetti heavy, it was easier actually to stick to my diagonal. But when things started to get into bigger groupings of color blocks like this, yeah, then I found kind of following the shapes of the colors sort of started to become more natural for me. Okay, so I have like 82 stitches left here to reach a 204,000 total. So we'll see if I can manage that while I stitch with you all today. Yeah, and then like I said, after that, it'll just be 600 stitches left. And I have some days between then and when I make my next video for you all, so that will probably happen. Yeah, so I'm saying now that I probably won't be done by the end of 2025, but you never know, maybe. There's still blues left here in the tail, but not very much greens. It's more orange and browns. Yeah, this is sort of where the blue ends. There's more orange in this sort of next shape there. But I'm going to leave the orange part until later. That way I won't have as many live needles, and then I'm less likely to get tangles. It's bright, bright blue. Yeah, I was a little worried for a while there I was going to run out of this color, but no, actually, I've got plenty. Oh, right, I don't have a strand there. Not paying attention. Almost grabbing the wrong color again. Okay, so after this, there'll be 60 stitches left to do to reach the 204,000 mark. I think we can manage that. Yeah, so gonna have kiddo's birthday party soon. Oh, it was such a pain. I was trying to make an Evite to send to his friends, and it was such a pain. One of them, I put in the details, and then for some reason, it would have the details correct at the top, and then the middle stripe was saying something for like 2 months later, and it was really hard to delete that. Yeah, they did not make it very user-friendly. I just spent like an hour messing around with it before I finally got it correct, because I didn't want it to be confusing that, yeah, the top date says one date, and then the next one says a completely different date. So it was supposed to be a quick little thing, you know, enter the details and send it out, and I just spent almost an hour making it. Would have been probably faster to just contact each person individually at that point. Oh, I guess it was the sunk cost at that point. I had put so much time into it that I was gonna make it work for, you know, come hell or high water. Yeah. But yeah, I finally got it sorted. Yeah, I signed up for a couple of different sites before. Finally found one that works. So now I keep getting emails from the first one. Do you want to finish your invite? No, I went somewhere else that had a little bit of a better user experience. Yeah. Yeah, and it gave me a place to enter details, and then for some reason those details didn't show up. Just like, I kind of want the invitees to see those details, because I'm putting it, you know, like, we want this to be a surprise, so please don't tell him ahead of time, you know. Kiddo doesn't watch this channel, so we're safe for me to mention it here. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna go to the restaurant, and then if people want to, they can come back to our house for some cake, which I will buy because I am hopeless at cakes. Yeah, I can bake other stuff and I can cook other stuff, but cakes is something I've never been good at. Yeah, it's the decorating part. I'm no good at it. Yeah, my mother-in-law would, when she was still with us, she would, sometimes I would bake a cake, she would come over and decorate it for me because she was good at that part. Yeah. And she enjoyed doing it, so, you know, but, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, we lost her to cancer end of late 2023, quite suddenly, yeah. They went from finding it to us having to say goodbye to her within just a few weeks. It was very quick. By the time they found it, it was stage 4, so yeah, unfortunately. But anyway, yeah, she was really talented. She made our wedding cake. That was her gift to us. Well, we say that, but she and Dad also spoiled us with a lot of gifts. I felt so bad. I said, oh, you shouldn't have spent so much. They got us this really nice full-length vanity mirror and this big glass vase, and yeah, some pictures for a wall. Yeah, they really spoiled us. Yeah, my mother-in-law loves giving gifts. That's funny because I find it stressful sometimes because I like to give like a gift of something that's not just generic, you know, something that they will really like, but that's a lot of pressure, right? So, yeah. Yeah, with my parents, we stopped doing gifts a long time ago. Or if we did, it was just a generic thing, like, oh, here's a box of chocolates, you know, Merry Christmas kind of thing, yeah. But we just kind of said at that point, we didn't want to be spending a lot of money to buy stuff that the person may or may not use, and, you know, just trying to kind of cut down on how much, you know, things were accumulating, so, which I get. Yeah. After decluttering my house majorly in 2017, I've been trying to only buy things that I actually, you know, will use kind of thing. I'm not a minimalist, but I definitely don't want to be a hoarder either. Yeah, my mother-in-law had a bit of a hoarding problem, and yeah, my husband's sister has moved in with Dad, and she and her partner are helping to declutter. And so she has a big group chat for us called, you know, Claim Your Crap, and yeah, she'll post pictures. Okay, whose is this? Do you still want it? You know, if you don't, we'll donate it. Yeah. You know, here's some craft supplies. Do any of the grandkids want it? Yeah. Yeah, I think it was because they had to leave Hungary with only what they had in their car. Yeah. They did not have much. And yeah, I think that was really hard on her. So then she kind of got to where she couldn't really throw anything away. Yeah. And it wasn't just she couldn't throw anything away. If anyone else was throwing anything away, she didn't want it to, you know, go to waste or whatever. But it was like, yeah, I remember we came to visit once, and they had like a set of living room furniture standing on its side in their living room, and they already had living room furniture, but yeah, somebody's getting rid of it, and they just didn't want it to go to waste, so they took it. And yeah. It's like, what are you going to do with another set? I think they finally found someone else to give it to, but yeah, it was wild. I think too, like, my mother-in-law, her memory wasn't always the best either, so she would even forget she had things and have duplicates of them. Yeah, because there's a few times it's like, oh, look, she has this movie. She has 3 copies of this movie. Who wants one? Yeah. She would give us, yeah, you know, DVDs for the kiddo, and she would give you the same DVD like 2-3 times in a row because she would forget. She would find it in, you know, like the discount bin at Walmart for $5 and buy it because, hey, good deal. And totally forget that she'd given it to you and then give it to you again and again. And yeah, so. Okay, no, let me just make sure I'm in the right place. Yeah, I was almost in the wrong place. I need to be here above this grid line. Yeah, we're right close to the top here. Not quite at it, but pretty close. We're in that top big square. But yeah, my husband was kind of frustrated because he said, like, Mom would get rid of the stuff that they would actually want to keep and keep the stuff that wasn't very valuable. So, like, they had a bunch of Star Wars toys from, like, when they came out, and she got rid of them. And then she kept, like, the jigsaw puzzle, and it's like, the Star Wars toys were actually potentially worth a bit of money. They were collector's items, you know? Like my husband said, or even if not, he would have liked to have had them for our son to enjoy, right? Because, yeah, he likes Star Wars, so he had some cool figurines and action figures and stuff that he would have liked to have handed down that, yeah, turned out they were gone. But it was like, oh, here's this jigsaw puzzle you got when you were 14. Like, yeah, thanks. I've been really looking for that. In fact, there's a lot of thrift stores who won't even take them unless the box is still factory sealed because, yeah, who wants to buy one where a couple pieces might be missing, right? Yeah. And there's one thrift store that I donate stuff to that now will no longer take books. Yeah. They had a whole book room the last time I went there, but I guess they're not taking any more stock. I don't know. I guess people don't buy them as much anymore now with access to ebooks, but yeah. So now I generally take books that I've read and don't plan to reread. I take them to the little free library stands they have throughout town. Yeah. Sometimes if they're in really good shape, you can take them to the library and they will use, if they don't want them for the catalog, they'll use them in their book sale. Yeah. But actually, I have not been to one since before 2020 because, yeah, I really don't read paper books that much anymore myself. I mean, I know there's one nice thing is the fact that you never have to worry about them disappearing from your cloud because that is something that can happen. Yeah. Like, there was a scandal a few years back where this was sort of pre the AI, explosion of AI, but somebody had basically used a program to plagiarize other books. And basically people started to realize there were huge sections that were verbatim a different book with like the characters' names changed or something. And yeah, it was a person who had like a big backlist. And there was someone who said, oh, it was really kind of interesting. So they were a person who likes to work with data and stats and that. And so they had built a program that they could run the book through and it could kind of analyze and break down which parts were plagiarized and from where. And she said she was really enjoying doing that. But then, of course, Amazon found out copyright violations. They pulled everything, which I understand. They do have to do that, you know. But she said the problem was the ones that she had already purchased also disappeared from her library. And I think she got a refund, if I'm remembering correctly. I think people got their money refunded because it was basically fraud. But she said, I kind of would have liked to have kept that material so she could keep on analyzing it because that's sort of the thing she likes doing. And of course she couldn't because they all disappeared. And yeah. Somebody said that is one nice thing with a physical book. They can't go adding ads to it, you know, unless they actually steal the copy, they can't make it disappear on you, right? So yeah, because they say when you buy a digital book, technically you're buying a license to read the book and you're not buying any physical thing itself, right? So yeah, anything that isn't an actual physical medium, there is the potential it could just disappear, right? If you don't have a copy downloaded, which you can no longer do. Yeah, they announced that this month, which I think the date has passed now, or was it, no, end of February, I think it was, yes, that you will no longer be able to download a copy. And so I went through my cloud and I downloaded backups of all my favorites just in case. But yeah, going forward, you cannot do that. So yeah, I have some books that I had spent quite a bit tracking them down because they were out of print. So I had to go on, used book selling sites to get a hold of them. And then years later, they showed up as free downloads. And I was like, oh, darn. And I thought, I guess I can get rid of these. And then a part of me went, nah, I better not. You just never know. That's one danger with stuff that is only stored digitally, is if the servers are ever destroyed, that stuff disappears, right? It's lost. And yeah, like some of these were mass market paperbacks that after paying exchange rate, import fees, shipping fees, which are a lot because Canada's shipping fees are, quite high. I had paid sometimes $20 or more for one mass market paperback. And it's like, yeah, that was a fair amount invested, and I do not want to risk that disappearing on me. So I kept them. So I have them both digitally and as a physical copy. But they were books I really enjoyed, and I do plan to read again potentially one day, although I have not reread a book in a long time that wasn't a Christmas book. Yeah, there's a couple of little Christmas novellas that I reread every year. There's a handful of others that I don't maybe read every year, but every few years I reread them. And yeah, but books that aren't Christmas ones, yeah. I guess I don't have that deadline to read it, right? So yeah, I have it, and there's some of them I do plan to read again one day, but I have so many new books that one day has just not arrived. I guess they're also good for if I have to travel somewhere sometimes. If I don't want to bring my e-reader with me, I'll bring an old favorite physical copy, yeah. So yeah, quite a lot of this color. Oh, so we should pass. Yep, 204,000, no problem. That big section of this color really helped. So yeah, I actually should have figured that out sooner. that would be no problem, but hey. So yeah, less than 600 stitches to go to reach 66.66%, which is exactly 2/3. So I think that will happen this month. Maybe not on camera, certainly not today, but maybe next time. Well, I always like when I manage to stitch more than I thought would happen. That's always nice. Just thinking ahead here. That's fine. Before I commit myself and attach the strand, I was just planning my path. Okay. Right. Remembering I have this strand at the bottom here. Okay. Just deciding how long of a strand I want to attach at the top. So I'm going to use a shorter one. See if that one will stay threaded or not. So yeah, why don't I just fill in this curve here before I quit for the day. So the further I progress down the tail of the peacock, the smaller the eye motifs get. They started small, they got bigger, now we're back to the smaller again. This piece stretched just long enough to finish these. It's gonna be close. Yeah, just enough. Love when it works out that way. Actually, I'll manage over 200 in this session. Okay, 209. That was a good number to put up. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.